There's a short squeeze for dollars. The dollar, because it's the world's reserve currency, has a lot of dollar-denominated debt. And because of that dollar, now there's a squeeze. Those who are emerging countries owe dollars. So they have to buy dollars. Very similar to 1980 to 1987, really. So that squeeze, once that squeeze is over, it undermines the dollar longer term. I think we're going to come in a couple of years from now in a point in which we're really going to be thinking hard, what is a good reserve currency? What is safe in investing? Is safe cash in what currency? So that notion, I think the dollar will have, it'll be strong temporarily. It'll be a squeeze. It causes the dollar to rise. That brings imported prices. I think the Chinese situation with the currency is very important, very important. If there is significant currency weakness,
for the dollar or for the yuan?
For the yuan. Mm-hmm. That'll mean more imported deflation. Right. And it'll make things more difficult. So I think what's happening in China with the currency, there's a balance of payments challenge. The nature of the flows are important. I believe that there's capable policy, but it is a big force, the nature of the flows. So yeah, that creates a currency risk that's important for the rest of the world.
When you talk about the imported, the lack of the imported deflation, essentially, here in the United States, is that bad because you worry about stagnation at some point? Or what do you worry about happening?
Sure. Monetary policy can be affected by either interest rates or currency. And so the tightening of currency is a negative. Also, there's a negative effect that we're seeing right now. Because the markets are going down, that will have a negative wealth effect. So when we start to look at what growth will be in the future, we're going to have a lower level of growth in 6 months from now than we have today. We estimate that would probably be about 1.5%, not negative yet. But so there's a negative wealth effect, and there's a negative currency effect. Both are negatives on economic activity.
Someone made fun of me and said, "Oh, I've coined a new term, negative wealth effect." Is that the sort of the opposite of all the Fed's extraordinary measures would be when they start coming out, it's the opposite of the wealth effect. But they were hoping that the fundamentals from the wealth effect would rise up to meet the overvaluation. Did that not happen?
I think what the Fed is doing that is, I think, mistaken, is that they're looking at the short-term economic cycle. You know, the classic is, if you're operating with a GDP gap, slack gets tighter, unemployment rates get lower, that at that point in the cycle, it's appropriate to tighten monetary policy. And that's very classic. And that's a very short-term business cycle perspective. But there is such a thing as a longer-term debt cycle. And I don't think they're giving enough attention to that longer-term.
But what changed in the world to where 1 or 50 basis point boom rates suddenly become normal? What did I miss in the 80s and 90s when I thought treasuries would never go 5%, below 5%? Is it some massive deflationary?
You just missed looking at history. I mean, like what is happening now, very similar. Like we hit zero in 1932. And when we hit zero in 1932, there was quantitative easing. There was a significant quantitative easing. That carried us from 32 to 1936-37. In 1936-37, we had an analogous set of circumstances. The asset prices had gone up because of quantitative easing. We had a big bull market. And then as we get to 1936 and 32, 1935-36, we encountered pushing on a string because we had zero interest rates and asset prices higher. You can't squeeze more out of this. It's difficult to squeeze more out of this. Everybody is long. It's the nature of our system. The system is that asset classes will have higher returns than cash. Everything. If you buy a business, you're going to have a higher return in cash. So there's a positive spread. That causes everybody to make money from being long. They buy assets. Leverage long positions is what the process is like. And everybody gets long, and you try to squeeze a bit more. Since 1981, every cyclical peak and every cyclical trough in interest rates was lower than the one before it because of the secular downward pressure. When we hit zero, then we couldn't do that. So that's why we had quantitative easing. There is that secular force that you can only squeeze so much debt growth and so much economic growth out of a cycle.